Thank you, everybody, for coming to the College Football Betting with Aaron Torres YouTube channel. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow. It helps our audience grow. I appreciate it more than you know, as we're talking college football on this channel year round. Appreciate your support. Click that subscribe button. Talk about Auburn hosting Texas A&M. Texas A&M, just a 2.5-point favorite against those Auburn Tigers. The over-under set at 46.5. What's worth noting in this one, it is a night game. Auburn has played a lot of 11 a.m. and 2:30 Eastern kickoffs this season. You go back to Arkansas. You go back to Oklahoma early in the season. You go back to Vandy, New Mexico, Cal. They were all early kicks. This is the senior night. It is a home game. It is at night, and that place is going to be rocking. With Texas A&M, listen, I think we get so caught up in all these other, teams, and Georgia has 2 losses, and Tennessee, and what about Bama, and what about Ole Miss? People forget, if Texas A&M wins out, Texas A&M is going to the SEC championship game. And as the discourse came out on Tuesday about losing in the conference championship game, everybody seems to think even if you lose in the SEC championship game, you're getting into the playoff. So if A&M wins out, they will probably be in the playoff. We'll see. 3 losses, whatever, but they'd have a win over Texas at that point, whatever. Point I'm trying to make, playoff hopes are not only alive, but they are, they could be in really good shape. The big issue is before you can get to Texas next week, which will be one of the crazy environments in all of college football that we've seen in recent memory, you got to take care of business on the road at Auburn. Now, what's interesting about this game, A&M basically been off the radar over the last couple weeks. Listen, they have the bad loss to South Carolina. 44-20 was the final score there. I know I said South Carolina put up 40-something points, but they lose that game. They get the bye. They take care of business against New Mexico State. I think it's interesting with New Mexico State. Marcel Reed threw the ball 31 times in that game. I think what that said to me was that basically Texas A&M's coaching staff has decided, this is the guy we're rolling with, and we have to get him some reps throwing the ball. We are not going to be able to beat Auburn and Texas with Marcel Reed just run, Amari Daniels run, and no passing game at all. Here's the thing, though. A&M, and I think I used this term a second ago with Ole Miss or one of these teams, their bread is still buttered in the run game. And what's interesting about this game, rush defense feel like has been a big stat in this show. We've talked about it with Indiana. We've talked about it with Ohio State. We've talked about it with BYU and Arizona State. And we talked about it with somebody else a minute ago. Ole Miss. I bring it up. I wonder how many people know this. You know that Auburn has the number 12 rush defense in college football right now? You know that Auburn has a top 15 total defense in college football right now? I don't think a lot of people realize that because the offense has been so abysmal, but the defense has actually been really good. Statistically, this is actually the best rush defense that Texas A&M has played all season long. What's also worth noting, and this is where it gets kind of interesting, Payton Thorne, I don't want to say he's been good. He hasn't been terrible the last 6 or so weeks. Okay, so listen, go back to the Hugh Freeze comments after the Cal game or the whichever game. It doesn't even matter at this point. Probably the Oklahoma game, whatever. And he said, we got to find a quarterback that stops throwing the ball to the other team. I found nothing remotely inherently offensive about that because it's the NIL era and they had to stop throwing the football to the other team. Well, here's the crazy stat on Payton Thorne that I don't think a lot of people realize. Before October 1, Payton Thorne, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Since October 1st, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception for Payton Thorne. So 1 interception since October 1st. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that Auburn's playing the best football that we've ever seen. But they destroyed UL Monroe last week like they should. They beat Kentucky a few weeks ago on the road. And when they have taken care of the football, you can see how much better this team actually is. And so I am going to put in my pick for this game, and I'm going to shock you a little bit. I'm going to take Texas A&M to lose this game. I'm going to take Auburn plus 2.5, and I am going to take the Auburn Tigers to pull off the stunner. First of all, with Auburn, they've been a lot closer. Listen, nobody likes Hugh Freeze. Okay, whatever. That's your personal opinion. I got no issue with the guy. But beyond that, is I don't think people are like, I'm not saying Auburn should be in the playoff race, but look at these final scores: 21-14 against Cal, in which you turn the ball over 5 times. You lose to Arkansas 24-14. That was the 4 interception game where Hugh Freeze called out his quarterback room. You lose 27-21 to Oklahoma. A pick six basically sealed the game for Oklahoma. Even Georgia, 31-13, basically played Georgia as tough between the hedges as Tennessee did last week. 21-17 lost to Missouri, in which you were in complete control until a fourth quarter meltdown. 17-7 lost to Vandy. It is not an exaggeration to say that while Auburn is 4-6, they easily could be 8-2 right now going into the final stretch. Now, maybe they don't deserve it. Maybe 6-6, is about right for this team. But if you win one or two of those games and you come into this game 6-4 instead of 4-6, Auburn's probably favored in this game. And so the one thing that Auburn does well, they've been taking care of the football. They run the ball okay, not as good as Texas A&M. But like I said, that rush defense is the best that Auburn has seen all year. And I think when it comes to A&M is good against the run, but they're not great. And so I'm doing it. I'm calling for the upset. Give me Auburn to pull off the upset at night. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, the shadows are coming in on me. There will be no shadows at Jordan Hare on Saturday night. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be loud. It's going to be senior day. It's going to be crazy. I like Auburn to win and to cover the 2.5.